December 22nd, the Friday before Christmas break here. A couple days off for the Edgework crew to start off next week, but we got 4 games on the NHL schedule here tonight, so we'll break each of those down, give out our best bets if we've got any for tonight's games, as well as take a quick look over this weekend's action before the NHL shuts down themselves. But before we get into any of that, I do want to remind people that today's show, as always, is sponsored by BetStamp. The easiest way to improve as a sports bettor is by using multiple sports books and always getting the best odds. We recommend using an odds comparison tool like BetStamp to help you do so. BetStamp compares odds across every sportsbook, whether it's for games, futures, or player props. You can save time and money by checking BetStamp before you bet. So make sure to download the app today. It is available in iOS, Android, as well as on the web. And if you are looking to sign up for a new sportsbook account, please check out the offers available at betstamp.app/edgework. That's betstamp.app/edgework. The link is available in the description of the show here as well. But so money, 6-2 day yesterday. 45% ROI for us. Russ clears very easily on the Mikko Rantanen and Shaw prop, takes over 3.5. We get 6 there in terms of the unders and our totals. It felt like for the most part, those were no sweats. Obviously, the Canucks Stars one was a little bit tighter than you'd like, but 3-3 going into overtime, you know that one's going to cash there. And as I'm seeing on the header of on your title there, your first overall Vancouver Canucks, you must be feeling pretty good this morning, right? Some money.
Well, it's a great morning to go to sleep last night, seeing the Canucks at the top of the standings at this time of the year. Oh, it feels good, man. It feels good. It's a nice feeling, right? Like we've struggled so long here, right? Since the cup run and then that bubble run, which really, in hindsight, set us back. But it's been a struggle, but it's good to see them. Like, and this is a legit team. They're not a fake first overall team. It is a legit team,
Yeah.
and it's really nice seeing them here.
I feel like so many you're going to be like, you remember the scene from The Incredibles at the very end when they're integrating back into normal life and Dash is running in the track race and they're in the stands telling him faster, 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 like slow down, slow down, slow down. That's going to be you with the Canucks the rest of the way, is you're trying to just kind of avoid that President's Trophy. Be one of the best teams, but don't take home the cursed President's Trophy out there. It's going to be so money cheering them on from the sidelines.
Absolutely, absolutely. Oh, it's
And
it's good, man.
And Alex, you're live in Chicago there, wearing the Blackhawks jersey. You see Bedard the other day with Victor Wembanyama. That might have been
Yeah.
one of the craziest, most freakish photos I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, that was pretty incredible to see. And I'm wondering how tall was that stick that Wembayama had? Like they had to
Yeah,
probably
no.
take 2 or 3 and put them together for a guy at 7'4". Could you imagine that guy being on? He'd have to be what 6'7", 6'7". He was on skates like that. I mean, who knows what we could see in the future? One day we might see
Yeah,
somebody who's 7 feet tall in the NHL. But that was a pretty cool,
yeah.
seeing those two number 1 overall picks meeting together.
Well, we have a good day here yesterday on the Edgework show. As I mentioned, there you go. 6-2 of the 8 bets that are given out, bringing our overall record on the year to 143, 134, and 2. Over 279 bets. We've got an 8.3% ROI. So let's keep that rocking. Roll it over into the new year here through the holiday season, and hopefully finish off this Friday very, very strong with these 4 games. So let's get into them. Before we do here, though, if you do have questions in the chat, you want us to answer anything, you've got any games you're looking at or any futures maybe that we can discuss after the 4 games here today, please send them in. We'll try to address those throughout the course of the show today. As well, hit that like button, subscribe here to the channel, help support the show, continue to give you guys winners, continue to have some success here on the show. The least you can do, like the stream, subscribe to the channel. But let's get into today's games. First and foremost, we'll look at the Detroit Red Wings hosting the Philadelphia Flyers here tonight. Detroit minus 130. You see the Flyers plus 123. Best price available coming in. And a total of 6 right now. So, Money, what are your thoughts on where this Red Wings team is priced at home against the Flyers team that we feel is kind of being pretty pesky so far this year and even actually sitting within a playoff spot at this point in time?
Yeah. So the Flyers are another team that has been doing well for us. I look at this number here, right? Like Yeah, you can make a case that Detroit is a little bit inflated right now, which they are based on how they've been playing the the last couple of weeks here. Concerns here are Carter Hart. He was backing up last night, so I'm assuming that, and like everything looked fine. So like I'm assuming if he was backing up last night, he'd be good to go today, um, tonight. But I would need that confirmation. Secondly, Detroit, they haven't hit rock bottom in terms of market sentiment yet, and we know that based on the price that they're demanding in the market. So I do have interest in the Flyers, but I do need confirmation that it is in fact going to be Carter Hart. If it is Carter Hart, I'm fine plus one down to plus 111 if it is Carter Hart. But again, I do need that confirmation.
Did
There you
Mike
go. You're
hang up
back.
there? Are we
Oh, you
good?
bet. Yeah.
Okay. Alex, is there anything for you here in this one that you might want to get involved in?
Yeah, I would be taking a shot with the Flyers too, but like so many said, you need the confirmation with Carter Hart. If we get that, I like it at anything plus $1.05 or higher. To be honest, the Red Wings have been struggling right now. This Flyers team, they looked like they were going to kind of maybe slump and kind of regress back to what we were expecting at the beginning of the year, but now still on a 7-3 run. And the Wings thought adding Sir Patrick Kane was going to make things a lot better. Team hasn't really done too well. They've lost 7 of the last 8 since he's joined the roster. So maybe they aren't gelling right now, and that combined with Philly still being a pesky team and playing competitive hockey night in and night out, I'll take a shot with them at plus money if it is Carter Hart.
All right. Well, do you want to lock that in? If this comes in throughout the course of the day or throughout this show, would you guys want to lock that in and go back here on this one? Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll keep that in mind for those out there. If Hart is in down plus 111, we're looking at for plus money on the Flyers here against the Red Wings. But as of right now, nothing available for us. Now, moving on, we got the New York Rangers hosting the Edmonton Oilers here tonight. The Rangers minus 129. You see the Oilers plus 125 right now, and a total of 6.5. Alex, how do you want to approach this one here tonight, and do you have any bets in this one at all?
This one I don't really have too much into. I mean, this is it's gonna be an interesting game though with this matchup because you got Chris Knobloch, new coach of the Edmonton Oilers, going to New York. Keep in mind he was just coaching with the Hartford Wolfpack of the AHL for the last 3.5 years. Even had a stint during the COVID season, if people remember, where he came up and had to coach for the Rangers. I think they ended up beating the Flyers like 8-0 or 8-1 in that game. So it'll be an interesting return. He knows a lot of people that are in that organization. So I think that's kind of going to be the biggest theme story. But this would be one to kind of watch, maybe jump in live with.
Anything for you at all right now, Sell Money?
This is the almost the exact same situation as the Oilers Devils game last night. In that coming into it, both teams are playing very well. They're playing at a very high level. You put a premium on the Rangers, and you put a premium against the Oilers on a back-to-back, and you call it a day, right? So it's I think this one's a good a good market price here for me. Maybe the over would make sense. You do want to look at Oilers overs, but that's been priced into the market as well. We're seeing a juiced 6.5. Yeah, so it's approaching the into the 20s anyways. So yeah, so I'll be passing on this game unless if something changes drastically in the market. I can't see myself getting involved here.
All right. Well, nothing there for the Rangers Oilers game. So continue to move on. Couple more games here still to go through tonight. Looking at the Bruins Jets game. The Jets hosting Boston tonight. When you see Winnipeg plus 105, Boston coming in minus 116 and a total of 5.5 here. So a little bit lower down. So, Moni, what are your thoughts on this lower total and where we kind of have seen things priced in for the sides in this?
So the market really wants to bet against the Jets. I think we've been seeing that all season, but the Jets they just keep coming through, and uh, all the all the credit to them. They've been playing well. Um, well, I'm seeing a little bit of a dip in their defensive metrics lately, so that would be a concern. And the Bruins, they're not playing well right now. I think the Bruins, they've been lucky to get points here in their last four games. The I see the Devils, Isles, Rangers, and Minnesota. All four of those games, I think that they did beat the Islanders, but all four of those games, I thought that they were a little bit lucky to get points in. So there's definitely been a dip in their play. Now, how much of that dip is reflected in the market? So I do see a depressed Bruins number here, right? Like we're we're into the teens now. The Jets did take some early money, so I do have a small edge on the Bruins actually here. So we can actually, if you guys are okay with it, we can actually lock it in for. I'm okay with doing half on the Bruins up to minus one 125 on the Bruins.
Yeah, well, we
Well,
got a number
that's
at
the market
Pinnacle there,
price.
minus 116. Yeah, and then you see market price kind of moving for elsewhere up to minus 125. You do see some books minus 120, minus 123, some different Ontario shops, obviously, within minus 120 there. So shop around, but we'll take that there. So money at a half unit on the Bruins, minus 116 money line. Any pushback from you, Alex?
No, no pushback. I was gonna say that's a hard cap at 125 for that. So what?
Yeah, yeah. It's just based on the way that the Bruins are playing right now.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to push it off my number too much there.
Okay, yeah, I can see with it. I mean, obviously, and you look at series history, the Bruins have dominated. They've won six in a row against Winnipeg. But I also I'm a little iffy with looking at some teams that are on the road wrapping up. In these
Mhm.
next couple of days, heading into the holidays. The frame of mind may not be there. I mean, look at what Buffalo did to Toronto last night. So there could be
Hey,
some
whoa, whoa.
wild. There can be some wild games that happen, as teams are kind of looking ahead to the holidays, looking ahead to that break. So just be a little bit careful with that. Looking at some of the series history, take it with a grain of salt.
I
Yeah.
think it's funny that Zach thought that we would let him off the hook for that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we had to bring that
You
up.
think
Come
he
on
forgot?
now. Yeah, Pepper
See, the
Talk
worst
about
Farm.
part
it.
about that, the worst part about that, Alex, is they still got one more game on the road here. They got to go into Columbus tomorrow night and play
Yeah.
Columbus. So like, you thought last night was a shit show. Let's see what Saturday brings. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think people need to hear a rant on the Leafs here so money about what happened last night. I had my post game show. I usually do like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then start taking callers. I think I went for about 20 minutes straight of my own rant before callers had even come in. Like that, it just opened up and just went. So I got some things off my chest last night. I'll say that.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
And that's a tough situation too. I mean, like not every team can be first overall, right? You can only have one team that's first overall.
I mean, yeah, you're correct. There's only one team that can win the Stanley Cup every year too. That's what I have like these dubious apologists telling me when I'm talking about the team losing. Like, well, only one team can win. Like, well, fuck, I guess. Like, what's the point then? I'm like, boy. All right. Well, final game here on the schedule tonight. The Chicago Blackhawks hosting the Montreal Canadiens. Chicago minus 110. Montreal plus 100. A total of 6 right now. Alex, I'll give it to you. Break it down for us. What is going on with this Blackhawks team? What can we expect? And what are your thoughts on this price as it stands?
Well, they're as bad as I expect them to be at this point right now. I mean, the goaltending's awful. The defensive core is very young, and outside of Connor Bedard and maybe a couple of other people, they don't really have any strong, offensive support on that can contribute on a nightly basis. So it's a bad hockey team right now. And it's still part of the rebuild. People shouldn't freak out. And when they're watching this, everybody's thinking that Bedard is just going to will this entire team to being a playoff team. It's going to take time. That being said, Montreal is not really the best of teams either. They've been grinding out a lot of games, need overtime in a lot of games too. So that's the direction I'm kind of leaning in here. I could see this one going a little bit longer, past 60 minutes. I'm gonna take a shot with the draw. Get that regulation draw over at Caesars at plus 333. You can get it at Pinnacle around plus 324. I think both those prices are pretty solid. So I'll go full unit with the regulation draw here, Hawks and Habs.
All right, there you go. We'll lock in the regulation time draw plus 333, full unit on that. So, Money, is there any other way that you might be looking to approach this game?
Yeah, I think the Habs have actually come into range here for me. I mean, I'll defer to Alex in terms of the way that the Hawks are playing recently, but with Montreal, I see a team that they're fine. They're actually playing well, right? Like they're they're starting to get some results, but even in their losses, they're not getting blown out of the building. They're fine, right? So I think that a reason why we're seeing some value here is that we're overreacting to Montreal on a back to back. Yeah, they're on a back to back, but they're playing a team in Chicago that, I mean, they're Chicago, right? So they're not very good right now, right? So I do see some value in Montreal. Um, there's some plus money there that we can do.
Yeah, plus 100's out there.
Yeah,
At
yeah,
Pinnacle as well.
yeah. I mean, if we can get some plus money on Montreal, I think that would be the way that I would want to bet this. Um, yeah, so I do like Montreal there.
So Money, do you want to lock this in here? The Habs plus 100?
Yeah, let's get a Habs overtime win. This is the only time when I'll be cheering to sweat a
Good to
game
go to
here.
overtime. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. We'll take the Habs plus 100 money on the money line there. We will recap all the picks. Again, if you guys have questions or anything like that, please make sure to send them. But before we end the show, we'll close things out. I've got questions for you guys. This thing went viral yesterday or 2 days ago, maybe it was, on Twitter. At JFreshHockey tweeted out his chart, his airing of grievances chart, where they put out the fan bases that are most hated by each team's fan base. Now, mind you, this is a prime example of sample size because I think there was 3,200 people polled in this one. Alex, I'm not sure if you saw, but I'm going to ask each of you guys your thoughts. So if you look at this, pretty much every single team other than Seattle hates the Maple Leafs fan bases. That's fair. I don't have a problem with that. But this goes in order here. Alex, I'll start with you. Is this real? Like, do the Blackhawks fans most hate Leafs fans? That's number one, then the Rangers, then the Senators. Because this does not seem accurate to me.
No, this is way off. I mean, granted, Hawks and Leafs were division rivals like maybe 30 years ago for a brief moment, but no, Hawks fans don't really have any kind of resentment toward Leafs fans. Rangers fans, maybe people who are 60 and older, perhaps, and the Sens, that just seems preposterous. So I'm not sure
Why
where they
would
got.
Alex hate the Sens?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
that's so weird.
Alex, what are the three most hated fan bases to you?
Number one by far and large, and now this is changing, of course, but is still the Detroit Red Wings. Number two, the St. Louis Blues, which that's kind of crawling up because they're still in the division. Number three would have to be the Minnesota Wild.
All right, fair enough. I think that makes sense. So, Money, now let's take a look at yours. I had beef with this one. The Vancouver Canucks most hate the Toronto Maple Leafs, shocking. And then it goes to the Edmonton Oilers and your own team, the Vancouver Canucks, most hated as the number 3 team. What are your thoughts on where this list is at? And would you make any changes to this?
It looks pretty accurate to me. Now, the Leafs. Okay, so let's talk about this hatred of the Leafs, right? I do have a problem with it because I think that it it goes to an inferiority complex here, because like we tend to hate everything Toronto for some reason, right? And the reason for that is that it's mostly due to like the media coverage, right? Like you talk to a lot of like West Coast people and they think that like Toronto is treated like the center of the world and or the center of the country, and like you watch like the local highlight packages and they start with Leaf stuff or like Raptor stuff. And my response to that is that if it wasn't making them money doing that, they wouldn't be doing it, right? And
Yeah.
it's not the Leafs' fault. that they generate the most revenue, or that compared to like the other Canadian teams, right? So, and you talk to Leafs fans, they have no problem with the Canucks. And in fact, if they don't have a problem with the Canucks, they're indifferent and they don't even care, right? They don't even care what's happening in on like the West Coast. And we're sitting here hating on like Leafs fans and like and like Toronto and stuff, right? It's just
Yeah.
these guys don't care, and you're like hating on them, right? Like that's just it's so like that whole dynamic is really weird to me. Um, I actually there's a lot of that like drive me nuts too, right? Like so one thing that I have a problem in Vancouver is that that's um that's a very front running fan base. Now a lot of them are like that. Like obviously you're gonna sell more when the team's winning. You're gonna have more interest when the team's winning. But you look at a place like Edmonton or like Calgary, um, maybe Winnipeg, right? Like you have this core where they will always show up to the games. They will always support the teams, right?
Yeah.
Now you can make the argument that there's not much else to do in those cities. So like, yes, you're gonna support your like CFL team, you're gonna support your NHL team. Whereas in Vancouver, if the team's struggling, you're not gonna show up, right? And like
Mhm.
we've seen that, we've seen at GM Place or Rogers Arena or whatever, right? Like the Canucks have played in front of a half empty building in my lifetime, right? So like there is precedence for that here where the team is able to lose interest pretty drastically, right? So I can see the hatred for the Canucks. I can see the hatred for like the Leafs for whatever reason. I don't understand the Oilers, right? Like and unless if you go back to like the 80s, right, where like so when I started watching hockey, the Oilers were always kicking our ass, right? But why would you still hang on to that hate though, back from like the 80s or 90s, right? Like it's like a different team. Like the like I maybe it's just because like I love the Oilers, right? Like I've had futures on them. I like bet them a lot. Like I like the last like couple of years I've like watched a lot of their games and stuff. But the Oilers hate I don't get. If you're hating because Gretzky and like those like Hall of Famers kicked your ass, I mean like they're Hall of Famers. They should have kicked your ass.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
haven't the Oilers and Canucks been division rivals literally the entire time they've been in the league?
Yeah, but like
So that
but
would
like
be the reason why.
yeah,
That
but
makes
like,
sense.
but like even like between the teams, like there's not that big of an of like animosity, right? Like it's not like Edmonton, Calgary, for example, where you have that intense rivalry, right? Like who is Vancouver's rival? Like the Oilers don't consider Canucks a rival.
Really? I would think the Canucks three rivals would be number one Calgary, number two Edmonton, and then number three probably either Chicago or now Seattle.
Yeah, but like even like Seattle, right? Like my whole thing is that like for something to be a rivalry, both sides must care, right? And like
Yeah.
I feel that like the Canucks care or like their fans care about like all these teams and like they don't give a shit. Like even like you
Right.
look at like Alex, you can like attest to this, right? Like I thought that the Canucks took the Chicago Vancouver rivalry a lot more seriously than the Blackhawks fans did.
At the start, yeah, but then Hawks fans quickly jumped on, and I think that rivalry went on for quite a while. And it just, I think within the last maybe 5 to 6 years, that kind of ended. But no, that was a pretty good rivalry that was starting,
Yeah,
and it can kind of go back to even like the '95. You can even go back to all the way to '82, the season with the whole white towel starting.
yeah.
That was against a really good Hawks team that Vancouver upset. So there's been playoff history between Chicago and Vancouver that had been brewing for 20 years before those runs in the early 2010s.
Yeah, like for me, I hate Chicago more than like anybody else, right?
All right. Yeah, makes
Like I
sense.
hate this Blackhawks team. Like I've got like Chelsea Dagger trauma. I've got
Mhm.
like Connor Bedard going there, right? Like there's
Patrick
the
Kane, the whole thing. Yeah.
yeah, right. Like they've like the Blackhawks have hurt me a lot, right? So
Yeah.
like I yeah, so like that's the team that like, I would hate the most, even even more than the Bruins.
Yeah. I
Right.
get it.
Yeah, and then the one for the Leafs here as well to just close off is the Sens, the Habs, and the Oilers. This kind of goes to So Money's point. Like I could not give you a single person in Toronto that I've ever spoken to or heard from that would ever insinuate that they don't like the Oilers or the Oilers fans. Like that one, I could not. That one was mind boggling. If you're going to be able to throw in your own team in there, Toronto would probably have Toronto as the number one most hated because of the way that they treat or they act towards this team and towards other fans. That would probably be number one. The Habs in there, but then it's like Boston, Tampa, those teams and those fan bases could definitely get pushed up into this ranking ahead of anybody else. And as for the Sens, like it feels like that one's just kind of like what so many saying. Like it's not two sided. Like I think the Sens fans hate Leafs fans. I don't think Leafs fans necessarily have the same animosity back because for the last basically 7 years now, it feels like the Leafs fans have and the Leafs have kind of little brothered the Senators, where it's like, yeah, it's not the same. It doesn't feel like this big battle that they've kind of made it out to be. So it's just not there. But yeah, there you go.
Unless if
There's
you're
our
Rob
own airing
Pizzola.
of grievances. Well, yeah. Yes. All right, that'll do it for our show today. Now, as for this weekend, guys, before we just recap all the picks, we're going to see our final games ahead of the Christmas break here tomorrow night. Alex, I'll start with you. Any games that you're looking at and you've got queued up on the schedule you're looking forward to watching tomorrow?
Yeah, it'll be in the afternoon. Definitely be watching that Dallas and Nashville battle. Of course, two Central Division teams going at it. But the reason I'm watching that is for the first 20 minutes. Dallas Stars have been 11-0 and 22-5 on those seasons in the first period over. So that's something that I would definitely be circling tomorrow. Dallas and Nashville, that first period over.
And so, Money, any games for you this weekend you're excited for?
Yeah, before I get to tomorrow's game, just a quick note here. So the Oilers took a bunch of money in the market right now because Jonathan Quick was confirmed. Um, so again, this is an overreaction to Quick, right? Like the market still bets against him whenever he's confirmed. So just if you're watching the screen and you saw the Oilers money coming in, that's the reason why. For 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 tomorrow, obviously the game that I'm looking forward to is the Canucks game. It's the game that I've circled, not from a betting perspective, but from a maturity perspective.
Right.
They're just coming off a road trip, coming back home, a successful road trip, coming back home with the holidays on tap, and playing a team that you should take care of pretty easily. So I want to see how they react in the situation. If they come out and take the game seriously, it's just another data point of this team being different, and they have come full circle and they have matured. If they come out sleepwalking, I can't blame them, right? Because I think a lot of teams would. But yeah, so like that's the game I've circled. I really want to see how the Canucks come out tomorrow, and it's gonna tell us a lot.
Your first overall Vancouver Canucks. We'll find out about them tomorrow night. Thanks to everyone who tuned in here today. As a quick recap of the picks that we gave out today, we've got 3 best bets on tap for you across the 4 games. First and foremost, we've got the Bruins money line minus 116 there. That is for a half unit. Then we're going to take the Montreal Canadiens money line at plus 100. And finally, in that same game, the Habs Blackhawks, we're taking the regulation time draw plus 333. So 2 best bets. Looking for the Habs to win in overtime there. 2 separate bets. And then finally, the Bruins money line minus 116 for a half unit there. Those are our 3 bets for today. Thanks to everyone who tuned in throughout the course of this week here. We will have no show on Monday. That'll be Christmas. Then no show on Tuesday. We'll be back here next Wednesday for those looking for NHL content. So make sure to check that out. Make sure to subscribe to this channel, like the stream. Appreciate everyone who tuned in. As for any other content, you can find most of it across a normal schedule for across the Hammer. Later today, we've got Forward Progress coming up, player props for this weekend, hit the books at 5, breaking down college football over this weekend. Then looking into next week, we're going to get back on the NFL schedule, and Rob will be live doing some watch-alongs over this weekend. So make sure to check it out. Happy holidays to everyone who tuned in here today. Appreciate it. So Money, Alex, Merry Christmas to you guys.
Merry
Enjoy
Christmas.
your break. we'll look forward to seeing you guys back here next week. And for everyone else out there, thanks for tuning in today. Enjoy the games tonight. Enjoy the games this weekend. Happy holidays. We'll see you guys next week. Good luck on your bets.